You know, the entire global medical cannabis industry is standing at a critical turning point right now. It's walking a tightrope. On one side, you've got a multi-billion-dollar medicine, and on the other, a worthless crop. Every single batch, every single harvest is teetering right on that edge.
So you have to ask the big question. What is the one thing that separates that life-saving medicine from a costly, catastrophic failure? What's going to keep this entire industry from tipping over into chaos? Well, it all boils down to one simple but incredibly difficult word: consistency. For a patient, it means the medicine works the exact same way every single time. And for a producer, well, it's the single biggest mountain they have to climb.
To really get why consistency is so crucial, you have to understand the battlefield these producers are on. I mean, they're fighting a war on 3 different fronts every single day.
Okay, so first, you've got insane production costs, especially for indoor facilities. Second, there's this crushing price pressure from all the global competition. And third, and this is the big one, you have these ironclad regulatory demands from bodies like Australia's TGA under Good Manufacturing Practices, or GMP. Any little mistake, any deviation, and an entire multi-million-dollar batch can be completely destroyed. Poof, gone.
Now, you'd think the tools growers have been using for years would help, right? But here's the crazy part. One of the most common inputs has actually become part of the problem. We're talking about those old-school, last-century humic products.
And this slide just lays it all out. It's a total disconnect. On one side, you have the old way, this inconsistent, unpredictable black sludge that clogs up irrigation lines and is loaded with who knows what, maybe even heavy metals. And on the right, you have what GMP demands: absolute, total purity and perfect solubility. I mean, they're not even in the same universe. And this isn't just about clogged pipes. No. These impure inputs create what you could call metabolic noise deep inside the plant. It's like static on a radio. It introduces total chaos at the cellular level, making a predictable, stable chemical profile, the very thing regulators demand, pretty much impossible.
So something had to give. The industry desperately needed a technological leap forward to turn all of that chaos into clean, predictable, pharmaceutical-grade order. And that leap is a technology called proto-humics. Now, the key phrase here is patented process. This isn't just another jug of humic acid. It's a completely engineered biostimulant built from the ground up for the pharmaceutical standards of today's cultivation.
See, this isn't just extraction. It's a multi-stage purification. It starts with the raw stuff, sure, but then this patented tech goes in and isolates only the most beneficial, low molecular weight molecules. Over 95% of that useless, inert sludge gets filtered out, leaving behind a perfectly clear, 100% water-soluble liquid. And here's where it gets really powerful. This purity creates a domino effect. It starts a chain of stability that begins down in the root zone and stretches all the way to the company's bottom line. By only giving the plant the good stuff, you get faster, healthier root growth and way better nutrient uptake. It acts like a natural chelator, basically unlocking nutrients for the plant. The plant itself gets tougher, more resilient to stress from heat or intense light. And here's the clincher. It cuts down on that metabolic noise that makes one batch so different from the next. And this has a massive economic impact. We're talking about growers in European trials hitting their transplant targets 3 to 5 days sooner. Now, every single day you can shave off a veg cycle is a direct hit against that silent killer of profitability. All those hours of lights burning, ACs running, and labor costs. It adds up, and it adds up fast. And don't just take my word for it. Here's a quote from a head of cultivation at an EU GMP-certified facility. They saw a 30% reduction in variability between their batches. I mean, in the world of GMP, that's not just an improvement. That is everything. That is the sound of an auditor smiling. All right, let's look at the hard data. Because when you're talking about meeting the world's strictest regulatory standards, claims are cheap. It's all about verifiable proof. Let's use Australia as our benchmark. Why? Because their standard, TGO 93, is one of the toughest on the entire planet when it comes to contaminants like heavy metals. It is the high jump bar that every single licensed producer has to clear. No exceptions. And wow, just look at these results. Proto-humics doesn't just pass the strict TGO 93 limits, it absolutely shatters them. Look at arsenic, cadmium, lead, mercury. In every single case, the levels are so far below the legal limit, they're barely even detectable. Let's just pull out the result for lead to see how insane this is. The TGA limit is 5 milligrams per kilogram.
The result for Proto-Humix is 0.04. That's not half the limit. It's not even 10% of the limit. It is less than 1% of the allowable limit. This is an absolutely exceptional pharmaceutical level of purity.
And this brings us right back to that quote from the European producer. This hard data, this undeniable purity, is exactly why they call it their consistency insurance. It de-risks their entire production by ripping out a major source of contamination and variability right at the source.
So when you put all the pieces together, you start to realize this isn't just about a better product. No, this is about a fundamental shift in how this medicine is made. It's a new foundational requirement, a new bedrock for the industry.
Look, the industry is growing up. It's evolving away from its old agricultural roots and marching toward a pharmaceutical future. And the inputs have to evolve with it. We are moving away from raw, unpredictable stuff to analytically defined pharma-grade biostimulants. There is no going back.
Which brings us to maybe the most important takeaway of all. For the medical cannabis industry today, stability is the new oxygen. Without this level of control, without this predictability, the industry simply cannot survive, let alone meet the demands of modern medicine. It suffocates.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought. As we demand more and more from our medicines, as we move towards this future of personalized, data-driven healthcare, can something as fundamental as precision ever truly be optional? I think we all know the answer to that.